Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
I love Batman.
Batman, my favorite character.
What? Hello, everyone. No, you're on the right show. Welcome back to another episode of Electric Mullet, the Superman Batman podcast. I am Phil. Joining me as always, Superman's number one pal. It is Tyler.
Hello, everybody.
And he who is of the night, he who loves things that fly at night. It is Justin.
Just now swooping into Metropolis and Gotham.
That's right. Because this time we're going to cover World's Finest, well, the 3-issue miniseries from 1990. Man, they really got into their heads to start teaming these two up again in 1990. First we had Dark Knight and Metropolis. We got this. So.
Which one came first? Were these came out at the same time?
Let me see. Because I mean they were both within the same year. So I mean,
Yeah.
Let's see. Issue 1 of this was August 1990. And then, let's see, we did Dark Knight or Metropolis last time, so... man. Let me see. I was going to say, I'm pretty... Dark Knight of Metropolis. June 1990 was Dark Knight of Metropolis. There's only 2 months
Okay.
between that and then this first issue. So, But again, it's 1990. It's the year after the first Michael Keaton Batman movie. So,
Right.
we're also playing on that popularity.
Yeah.
I
had read this. This is my first time reading this one. I didn't actually even know about this. I guess when I saw this, I just assumed that this was like reprints and stuff. I didn't realize it was an original story. But then when I looked closer at the cover, I was like, oh, and looked at the creative team. I thought, okay, this is original.
Tyler, had you read this before?
Nope.
I had seen ads for this, and I have not read it. So this is the first time for all of us. So.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the first time for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. All right. So let's get into this. Like I said, we got some nice long synopses here.
Nice.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Some nice covers here.
Especially these covers are amazing.
Especially this art period is
magnificent. When I saw that it was Steve Root, I said, oh my God, yeah, I got to read that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially that first cover. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, that looks like the Superman from the old cartoon.
Yeah.
There's so much in here that calls back.
Yeah. I love it.
All right. So World's Finest, it says volume 2. Number 1 from August 1990, Worlds Apart. Writer Dave Gibbons, penciler Steve Rude, inker Carl Kessel, color Steve Oliff, letterer Bill Oakley, and editors Jonathan Peterson and friend of Tyler Patrick, Mike Carlin.
Yep.
That's right, kids. Check out Krypton Report if you want to hear Tyler's interview with Mike Carlin.
Nice.
All right. Many years ago, a kid lost his parents. The monks, and he was taken by an elderly man that took care of him in his orphanage. See, kids, you thought when we said a kid lost his parents, we're gonna say Batman.
Yeah.
But yes, the elderly man took care of him in his orphanage. The man taught this kid the value of crimes and society's perception of them. All the kids in the orphanage were part of this man's crime ring, acting on his behalf and doing all the dirty work. The monk's kid became part of the gang. Although reluctantly at first, he eventually started to enjoy the criminal capers. However, once the orphanage's illegal activities were exposed, the man was taken by the authorities and the orphanage was closed. Before leaving, the man left the monk's kid a special ring as a token of his personal appreciation. Many years later, the dark and mysterious Gotham City has a protector who is not afraid of chasing down the criminals that endanger the city. All right, 3 guesses who that is, kids. 1, 2, 3.
Batman, my favorite character.
Is chasing down a couple of these who have stolen a jewel store. And he saves young children from being harmed by one of the thugs. The remaining criminal makes an escape attempt, but finds himself cornered in a dead-end alley. As
Batman, my favorite character.
Approaches, the man pulls out a deck of cards and takes one to his mouth, tossing the rest to Batman. The man immediately collapses and dies with a rictus grin on his face. Batman takes the card from his mouth and recognizes the Joker's trademark. So... Metropolis, on the other hand, is a bright and honest city in which businesses thrive and people abide the laws. Their protector, Superman, keeps a close eye on the city, giving its citizens hope and keeping the streets safe from dangers. When a traffic accident develops into a street brawl, Superman intervenes and stops the white-collar men from attacking the bus driver. It is then that Superman learns that these men carry drugs with them, and he takes them to the Metropolis Police Department, only to find out that Lex Luthor has already sent their legal team to prevent the thugs from going to prison, much to his frustration. Later in Midway City, 'cause it's midway between Gotham and Metropolis, kids. A new orphanage has been opened with the combined efforts of Reverends Adam Monks and Oliver Fulbright, thanks to an anonymous benefactor. Many people from the neighboring cities have been invited to the opening ceremony, including Bruce Wayne and Commissioner Gordon from Gotham, and Perry White, Clark Kent, and Lois Lane from Metropolis. Among the discussions in place is the fact that Lex Luthor was outbid by the mysterious benefactor for the orphanage. Seeing such notorious personalities from different cities got some of the orphans discussing who is a better hero, Batman or Superman. Part of the ceremony was the screening of the last recording done by the previous owner of the orphanage, Byron Willie, prior to his death, in which he apologizes for his past crimes and asks for forgiveness. Even though the guests are shocked to see such video, most of them agreed that it was a good thing coming from a bad man. Once the ceremony is over, everyone returns to their resting places, but Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne can't help but have disturbing nightmares about their traumatizing pasts. In the meantime, and unknown to everyone, Lex Luthor has arrived in Gotham in order to buy an old abandoned house and start the slow process to take control of that city. However, Luthor doesn't expect that the house he intends to buy belongs to the Joker. During the sour first meeting, Joker and Luthor come to an agreement in which Joker gives Luthor the place for $5 million and the chance to roam the streets of Metropolis for a month without interference. Once the deal is finished, both criminals set their respective plans in motion to start over in different places. That night, the bat signal summons Batman to a building that has been set on fire by a faulty machine owned by Luthor's company. Batman makes haste towards the place, and once he gets there, he learns that the building will collapse entirely if the machine is not stopped. Since none of the employees are authorized to stop the machine, the towering device that stands next to the burning building will eventually explode and blow the entire block away. Batman decides to take action and climbs to the top of the machine with his bat rope. Once there, Batman attaches plastic explosives to the machine and sets the timer to explode in 30 seconds to give him time to descend. Unfortunately, the machine starts collapsing into the floors, but only a few inches. The sudden shift caused Batman to lose his grip, and he was barely able to grab a hold of the ledge of the machine. Right then, Luthor suddenly arrives and using a master control, he deactivates the machine, ending the threat. However, Batman's explosive is still active, and the Dark Knight is forced to jump down as the machine explodes. Luthor watches as Batman falls to the street and tells Gordon that once he is in control of Gotham, he will have vigilantes like Batman shot on sight. The next day, things are not any better in Metropolis as the news starts broadcasting the theft of a playing card company. Superman goes out to investigate, only to find that a couple of fat men dressed as clowns are wreaking havoc in the streets by crushing several vehicles with a monster truck while leaving laughing gas and slime on the way. Superman first deals with the laughing gas and removes the source before opening a hydrant to get rid of the gas with water. He then goes to stop the fat men, but they toss a bomb to the crowd, forcing Superman to take the bomb and fly to the heavens where it explodes safely. This distraction allows the fat men to escape through the sewers, and when Superman takes the manhole cover to chase them, he gets a pie in the face with his spring mechanism. The people on the streets laugh at the hero, but the hardest laugh among them is the Joker, who pretends to be a tourist who just happens to be at the place to watch the scene. The next night, Batman talks to Gordon on the roof of the GCPD headquarters, and he tells him how awful he feels knowing that he was manipulated by Luthor. Gordon tries to cheer him up by telling him about Superman's encounter with the Joker in Metropolis. Meanwhile, Superman is talking to Perry on the roof of the Daily Planet, sharing the same thoughts as Batman, and Perry does exactly what Gordon did, only he tells Superman about Batman's encounter with Luthor. It is then that both heroes realize they are fighting the same battle, and that an alliance seems like the best approach. In the meantime, Joker gets himself more comfortable with his new surroundings in Metropolis as he starts planning several other crimes, while Luthor does the same in Gotham. Learning that his presence in Gotham is being well received by the public eye so far, Luthor continues his plans to expand his criminal empire to Gotham, but not before he gives himself to his most basic needs with his hired help. Yeah.
Yes.
Later, yes, basic needs. Later on, it is open day at the Midway Orphanage, and many of the guests that are first invited have returned in order to stay updated on the progress of the place. All the kids at the orphanage have prepared their most valuable items to put on display, but one among them caught the attention of both Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. It is a scrapbook where two of the kids have drawn Batman and Superman, explaining why they are their favorite heroes. After this touching moment, Bruce asks Clark to meet him outside the building. When they find themselves alone, they realize they need to work together to stop Joker and Luthor, but Bruce is reluctant to actually team up. Instead, they decide that each of them will suddenly have important business affairs in each other's cities and their civilian identities, and this will help them understand what their enemies are plotting. Once the open day is over, the guests retire from the orphanage, unaware that Reverend Monks has a dark secret with a mysterious man inside the orphanage. Thoughts?
Are you still talking? Whoa.
That was a nice, lengthy, meaty synopsis.
I know.
Yeah, we usually don't get those. It's nice.
It is definitely different.
I like the juxtaposition of, Batman talking to Gordon and Superman talking to Perry, but I'm like, how often is Superman on the roof talking to Perry?
I know, right? Yeah, that doesn't happen. Yeah.
I mean, we've never really seen him confide in him like that. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. But
I guess that was because I guess he could have had that relationship with Maggie Sawyer, but they didn't really develop it enough to have that parallel between her and Jim Gordon.
And it seems like, and it seems like we're sticking to like the classic, characters everyone knows, like Gordon and Perry White and Lois.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even the villains,
classics.
Lex and Joker.
Yeah. We're not introducing any characters that have been introduced in the last 10 or 20 years before this. Like, it's all the classics.
I just wonder if they did that way, so it's like almost like timeless. Like, this could take place almost at any point.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Because the look of this looks like a mix of a hybrid of a bunch of different eras. You get a little bit of the golden age here, a little bit of silver age here, a little bit of bronze age here. So yeah, it definitely looks like it could come from any time, and that's part of the success of this, I think.
I agree.
But yeah, just the whole thing with the Joker as a tourist. I don't know. It's just.
I just think it's weird, the idea of like, we sold the Joker buildings. Like,
yeah,
how is the Joker able to like own property?
Thank you, because I think is in the next issue or the one after, they say something about like the Joker's like business affairs or something. I'm like, who's doing business? I know Gotham, but who's doing business with the Joker?
Mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah,
Gotham's corrupt, but I'm like, who's who's literally doing business with an escaped mental patient who's a mass murderer?
the only thing I can assume is that throughout his criminal exploits, he somehow has amassed this large fortune. Like nothing to the size of Lex Luthor's, obviously, but he's killed like a bunch of rich guys or whatever and gotten them to sign over their accounts or something to him.
Yes.
I bet he's got like a bunch of money squirreled away somewhere.
Oh yeah, I
He's
mean,
just able
I
to
could
buy
see him
them.
having money and like
Yeah.
he's stolen all this money, but I'm just like, who's actually like doing actual, here, put your signature on this business with the Joker.
Oh,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, he's got an accountant somewhere in Gotham. Imagine that. It's bonkers.
Oh,
I just don't see him being able to hold property.
Yeah.
I know.
He'd much rather just blow it up. Yeah.
It's almost like in Batman and Robin when George Clooney whips out the credit card.
Oh God.
Gee.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Phil, I tried to block that from my memory. No.
I know.
What
It's
are you
okay.
doing?
Or they do that joke like in the I think it's when Harvey Dent first becomes Two-Face in the animated series. Like he opens his wallet. There's like a credit card with Two-Face's name on it. It's like Two-Face. Like who's giving Harvey Dent a credit card with name Two-Face on it?
Yeah.
Where's the Joker nuggets? Because he invested heavily in poultry and fish. Ugh. That's right, Joker nuggets.
No, I invented that, you dick.
But no, I liked it. Again, it's just that I think that's the biggest.
It's a uniquely dense story.
Oh
It
yeah,
is. There's lots of layers here.
My thing is like I feel like you could almost get rid of Joker and still have the same story for the most part, because I feel like it's really Luthor, the idea of like Luthor moving into Gotham and that orphanage history, because they really gave that, I mean, they gave that orphanage its own history with rich characters instead of just being an orphanage that Luthor like wants the land for. Like there's a whole almost mythology to that orphanage.
Yeah, that was one of the most interesting parts of this whole story. It's the glimpses of the past that we see.
Mm-hmm.
The orphanage is cool. Yeah, it's a neat mystery.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason it seems like they wanted to keep everything even. It's like okay, they both had to have like their main villain and their main supporting cast. Although the one thing in this, I just reminded me, I'm thumbing through this on the app. The one thing that doesn't make this timeless, that does set it in like the continuity of 1990, Lex has his artificial hand.
True. That's true.
Barbara's in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's something else, maybe.
Well,
maybe not.
The Joker is pretty well intact in this story. Like he hasn't had his face ripped off yet, and like
that'll be a long time coming. But yeah, like even him dressed as the Taurus, yeah, that reminded me of Killing Joke when he,
yes,
Barbara's wearing like the lion shirt and everything. Yeah.
So I feel like there was something else that really kind of said it where you're like, yes.
For me, the biggest part of this was the art. I can't say enough good things about it. There were these full page spreads of Metropolis and Gotham, and it's just they're gorgeous. It's magnificent stuff.
Even just the juxtaposition of just like Batman talking to Gordon, look how dark it is. Then Superman's talking to Perry and how bright it is. Yeah.
Exactly, little subtle stuff like that. It's so well done here. This is how, in my opinion, this is how you do a Batman and Superman team up with art like this and storytelling like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the movie should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the kind of way they take out the orphanage and everything. It's very similar to the animated the animated series movie they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that that was, it's right there. Like that's a perfect foundation for a movie.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on to the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So my question is, how did you guys read these?
On the app.
Yeah.
But did you do the individual issue?
Yes.
Yeah, I just downloaded the trade and did the trade.
I think the trade might be on Ultra. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it probably reads better as one singular story, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you read it, Tyler? Did you sit down, read it from beginning to end? Yeah, I feel like breaking it up into 3 issues wasn't good for it. I feel like this should have been released as a trade or a graphic novel or something.
I think I liked it how it was. I would just take out this is like the book 2, like where you can tell oh, this is book 2. Like just take that out, and just read it like you said, all as one story.
Yeah.
And my other thing is, and we'll get there, like the third part feels like it connects, but it almost feels like the second part was resolved and then the third part starts. So it was weird. I kind of was like, oh, this is weird, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there. But
all right, Phil, take us there.
But yeah, if I could ever find like the actual copies of these, I'm getting these.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, I would. Yeah.
This is one. I want to see that art.
Yeah, definitely.
On paper, hold it in my hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and this also gave us the team up I didn't even know I wanted, Lois and Alfred.
Oh, right. Yeah. I loved that. That was great.
All right. So, World's Finest, number 2, September 1990. Worlds collide. Same team. According to the plan, Clark Kent arrives in Gotham City to make a report about Luthor's activities in Gotham. And upon his arrival, he is welcomed by Alfred, who was instructed to assist Clark by locating him in a hotel and also go alongside him around the city. At that moment, Bruce Wayne is doing the same as he arrives at Metropolis and is welcomed by an eager Jimmy Olsen and a reluctant Lois Lane, who is assigned to cover Bruce's investigation of the development areas of Metropolis. That night, Superman goes out on patrol in Gotham City. At that moment, a couple of Luthor's henchmen are threatening people at an old building to abandon the place, but when they refuse, the thugs decide to weaken the building structure and make it collapse. Superman arrives in time to prevent the building from falling down and killing all the innocents. Upon listening to the news, Luthor is frustrated that his enemy has followed him to Gotham. The next morning, the people of Metropolis are distracted as Tweedledum and Tweedledee create a big juggling scene in the middle of the streets. While other hoods wearing clown masks break into a pawn shop, Batman spots the scene from the top of a nearby building, and he jumps to the scene, kicking the masked hoods out of the shop. The Metropolis Police Department arrives shortly after Batman has dealt with the criminals, and the officers decide to turn a blind eye on Batman's presence in Metropolis, even if just for a moment. Unknown to all of them, the Tweeds have escaped through the sewers, and they are closely followed by the Joker, who is shocked yet delighted that Batman has followed him. Meanwhile, at the Midway Orphanage, Reverend Oliver Monks is having secret phone conversations with an unknown man behind the back of his partner, Reverend Adam Fulbright. At that moment, Clark Kent has a dialogue with the people he rescued the other night, although none of them know he's the man who saved them. It is here that Clark learns that Luthor's plan involves the siege of large areas of Gotham for a purpose still undisclosed. That night, a couple of Joker's henchmen attempt to sabotage one of LexCorp's properties in Gotham by placing explosives, but they are discovered by Luthor's men. The Joker's henchmen would have been killed if Superman hadn't arrived in time to save them, but the whole affair has left him curious. So the next morning, Clark Kent is waiting at the exact place for Luthor to arrive, and much to Clark's surprise, he arrives alongside Reverend Monks. When Clark attempts to question Luthor about his affairs in Gotham, he is removed by force, but not before he gets a glimpse of the blueprints for a Gotham orphanage and Monk's face of guilt and shame. At that moment in Metropolis, Bruce Wayne is supposed to meet with Lois for an interview, but she has sent Jimmy to ask the questions. Bruce decides to cut the interview short as he had expected to have a moment with Lois by himself. Yeah, he did, kid. And instead, he goes to investigate Luthor's businesses to find any connection with the Joker. Disguised as a homeless person, Batman witnesses how the Tweed brothers use smoke bombs to create a distraction while a couple of Joker's men place an explosive in the LexCorp building. Batman takes down the masked men, but when the police arrive, he is forced to leave the scene. Hours later, Bruce finally meets with Lois, who couldn't be less excited to talk with the rich playboy from Gotham. Lois considers that Bruce being interested in development areas of Metropolis is hypocritical, but her stand regarding him changes considerably when Bruce deals with Lex Luthor, who just arrived, and gives away the fact that he is very aware of Luthor's corrupt businesses. In his last day in Gotham, Clark Kent learns that the Midway Orphanage is throwing a Christmas party with Lex Luthor as the guest of honor, and doing some background research, he learns that Reverend Monks is also a doctor. Meanwhile, Bruce Wayne has a conversation with Perry White in which he learns that Monks might have been involved with the old owner of the Gotham and Metropolis orphanages, Byron Wiley. True to Bruce's discovery, Reverend Monks has an orphan kid taken by Byron into his orphanages, where he not only learned to survive, but he also learned the criminal ways of Byron. Over the years, Byron and Monks remained close, and when Monks graduated from medicine school, he was responsible for faking Byron's death and took him to Midway Orphanage with him, behind Fulbright's back. However, Monks has now gotten tired of taking care of Byron and has made a deal with Lex Luthor, who wants to buy the Midway Orphanage. The decision is not supported by the elder Byron, which leads to several discussions among them. The kids at the orphanage notice strange noises coming from the cellar, but Reverend Fulbright ignores the kids' warnings as being their imagination. Later, Bruce has an encounter with the Joker in the streets of Metropolis, but Bruce only gets a piece of paper from the madman. Moments later, Bruce arrives at the Daily Planet while Clark Kent is waiting for him. The two of them go to the rooftop of the building to discuss in private, and they both agree that the need to attend the Christmas party at the Midway Orphanage to further investigate the business between Luthor and Monks. The day of the party arrives, but Reverend Fulbright is attacked while he is dressing as Santa Claus by an unknown person. Hours later, the party starts, and the kids have a nice Christmas celebration with many important guests like Superman watching the whole event. However, nobody seems to notice or care about the Santa Claus in the corner. In the middle of the party, Reverend Monks decides that it is time to make the announcement with Lex Luthor, and he reveals that he will sell Midway Orphanage to Luthor, who then announces that he will open new orphanages in Gotham and Metropolis, and he would close Midway Orphanage and make it his private mansion. As the two of them get ready to sign the deal, Superman interrupts and tells everyone about Monk's connection with the old Byron Wiley. Things don't look good for Luthor or Monks, and the Santa Claus in the corner starts to leave when Batman strikes him down and reveals him as the Joker. Batman deduced that Joker would be at the party because the paper he took from the madman as Bruce Wayne had the phone number of Monks, who was finally exposed for being connected to the Joker and Luthor. The Reverend breaks under the pressure, and he confesses that he continued a life of crime. Following Byron's teachings, as an adult, he deceived everyone and convinced them he was a good man. But Joker learned the truth and started blackmailing him while exposing his criminal past. Eventually, Luthor also learned of his past, and he also blackmailed Monks, forcing the man to sell the orphanage, making Luthor look good in the public eye. In the middle of this confession, Byron appears and reveals that he is still alive, thanks to Monks, who faked his death. Superman attempts to stop Byron, but the man is prepared to trap in the orphanage, and soon the whole place starts burning. Batman, Superman, and the other guests get busy taking all the kids to safety, but in the midst of the confusion, the Joker and Luthor disappear. Once everyone is safely outside, the heroes realize that Monks and Byron are still inside, but it's too late to save them as the whole burning house collapses on top of them and they are singed in flames. Once all the guests and kids are gone, Batman and Superman remain behind. They discuss their next step in capturing Luthor and Joker, but since it is Christmas, Superman has brought a present for Batman. The Dark Knight opens the package and finds the classic film Zorro inside, and the memories come back to him. All the guilt, floating heads of guilt. Superman realizes that he has made a mistake, but Batman simply says that he has already seen the movie. Batman tells Superman that he can spend Christmas with him in Wayne Manor, but Superman says that he usually spends Christmas with friends. Once again, Superman realizes he's being insensitive, and he tries to fix his mistake by clarifying that it's his friends in Metropolis. Batman doesn't listen, and as Superman leaves, wishing him happy holidays, to which Batman simply replies that crime doesn't take holidays, as he drives away in the Batmobile. Meanwhile, Luthor is driving back to Metropolis when he hears Christmas carols coming from the trunk of his car. He and his thugs get down to investigate. And when they open the trunk, the Joker comes from inside, laughing at them. Joker tells Luthor that he still has 1 more week to be allowed in Metropolis as part of their initial agreement. But Luthor refuses to deal with Joker anymore, and he tosses the madman on the road before leaving in his car. Soon the Tweeds arrive in a Joker Christmas sled pulled by reindeers, and they head towards Metropolis, where Joker still has unfinished business. Thoughts?
It's crazy that is one book.
Yes.
No, right? One issue.
Yeah.
All that.
Well, these were like 48 pages, I think.
That's true.
But,
yeah, these were.
But I'm like, these could have been broken up each. Like, this could have been a 6-issue,
Water comic.
9-ish.
If this came out today, it'd be 12.
Yeah, I mean,
easily.
Because I mean, it's dense.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing about faking the death and who's in charge. Like, I got confused a couple of times. Like, I had to go back. Like, wait, who's who?
Yeah.
You know, like, who are they referring to?
Yeah. And the other thing, I like the stuff with the kids and stuff, but it seems like we really went hard on this orphanage thing for it to just end here. Because again, it's done. We don't get any of this in the 3rd issue.
We hark back to like one part, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it though. Yeah.
It really didn't go. It's like, these people we don't know about did this secret thing, and it's like
it still is a little confusing about exactly what and why.
Yeah.
The whole orphanage thing, like,
and it just seemed like it really didn't add a lot to the story. Again, like the playoff something. One of you two said, it's like we could have pretty much had the same story without the orphanage stuff.
Right.
Just Joker and Luthor messing with stuff in Gotham and Metropolis.
Yeah.
It's like I think I would have preferred if they had just focused on one story, as in like the Joker and Luthor switch places, then do this like orphanage story as another adventure.
Yeah, separate, like World's Finest 2 or something.
Yeah.
Because I do like when there's times where they team up, like we looked at in the past books, where they're not taking on one of their major villains. They're doing something different. But the whole, like I said, like if the orphanage was just selling to Luthor cheap, and it was like the guy didn't actually have the rights to sell because this other dude was still alive or something. I don't know, like something to make it where Luthor's just trying to get a foothold in in Gotham. Start, he's trying to expand. I don't know, something. But it was, like I said, the whole Joker owning the building, bought the building like cheap, and then it just felt like a lot.
Yeah. It's just like, is it just the greedy nature of Luthor? But I'm just like, what's the point of him just like closing down Midway to make it his mansion? I was like, I don't think there's any nefarious plot other than I want this building.
Yeah.
Or it's in the Midway if he was like trying to build some amazing complex thing that connected Gotham and Metropolis. One of those type stories where it's like, but the orphanage is in the way.
Yeah. He wants to build a series of condos right there.
Well, I think he wanted a house Midway because, again, I think he was trying to like open up operations in Gotham because the one issue Batman even says to Gordon, we can't let him, come here.
Yeah. Because soon he'll own the whole town.
So,
I feel like the stuff with the orphanage, it could have been, it would have worked better in this if it had been through all 3 issues.
Yeah.
Because that final confrontation between Wiley and Monks, like when he's burning to death, and you can just see his skull underneath all the scorched flesh. I mean, that would have made an amazing climax to the 3rd issue to have that at the end of that.
And it might have worked better and had more impact if they had given it the other issue to give it more room, that story more room to breathe and stuff. But I guess they wanted to focus just on Lex and Joker. But
I knew who these people were. Like, really got to feel like I saw the characters.
Yeah. And again, the artwork was gorgeous. We've got that picture of Metropolis Central My God, I just stared at that for a while, looking at all the little details and things that went into that picture. It's phenomenal. And then there's another part of this, that lady in Gotham that refused to leave her building. She said, "No, I ain't being bought off by you Metropolis bully boys. I'm staying."
And then Superman shows up. She's like, "She's a Metropolis guy I like."
Yeah, I like him. It's so funny though. Right after she tells him that dude from that guy from Lex's crew to leave, he like immediately goes over with a sledgehammer and starts knocking out the supports for the building.
I know.
Like, immediately. Doesn't waste any time. He's like, "All right, let's do it."
It was crazy is what it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It just feels so weird though. Yeah, because it's like this building's already fallen over, and the guys are like, "Yeah, I'll take a sledgehammer and just finish the job."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so weird seeing Superman fly over Gotham. Like go-go dancers, everybody's like, "Oh, look, Superman!"
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see how it said? It said girls, dudes, and girls.
Yeah.
I was like, huh.
Well, it says live XX, and I guess there's another X, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like they you know how usually those type of signs will say nudes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it said dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Interesting.
That doesn't sound any cleaner.
I know. I was just like, okay. I'm like, you're just gonna roll with this.
I guess it's Magic Mike night over there.
Oh, that's naughty.
Yeah, it's so funny to see Superman in Gotham, just period.
It's just so funny. Superman flying around Gotham at night, and then Batman, even in the middle of the day in Metropolis, Batman still finds shadows. Like,
yes, yeah,
that's what he does.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's all good. But yeah, some of this stuff, especially the orphanage stuff, it could have used more room to breathe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that should have been, if it was to be added into this story, I feel like it would have been more effective to have it throughout all 3 issues.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my only complaint, though. I loved everything else. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Should we do the last one?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Talk this whole thing up. Get my breath. All right. All right. World's Finest, number 3 from October 1990. Worlds at War. Same team. Some days have passed since the Christmas incident at the Midway Orphanage, and New Year's Eve has come. Surprisingly to all, crime has been minimal both in Gotham City and Metropolis, but the authorities feel like this is just the calm before the storm. Bruce Wayne spends the night at home along with Alfred, while Clark Kent is joined by his friends at the Daily Planet. When midnight approaches, Clark and the others decide to walk downtown and witness the coming of the new year with the crowds on the streets. Hold on. And in the meantime, Bruce watches Gotham from Wayne Manor. The countdown begins, but before it could reach 0, a large section of Gotham is bombed and Metropolis goes in a complete blackout. Both Clark and Bruce know that their enemies have made their move. The authorities in Gotham try to keep control of the chaos created by the explosions, which are mainly connected to buildings owned by the Joker. Although the police and fire departments managed to contain the fires in many areas of the city, Crime Alley is the neighborhood that is the most affected by the vicious attack, as always. Batman arrives in time to assist the efforts of saving people trapped in the burning buildings. But even then, everything feels like small achievements as the chaos and destruction continue to spread. In the meantime, Joker managed to survive the attack by escaping through the sewers, and he knows that this was caused by none other than Lex Luthor. However, the Clown Prince of Crime has an ace up his sleeve that will make Luthor regret his actions. The damage control in Gotham is not working as there is not enough manpower to control the fires. Commissioner Gordon discusses some tactical plans with Batman to stop the fires, but they know only a miracle can help them. It is then that Superman arrives and explains that the blackout in Metropolis is under control and that he is much needed in Gotham at the moment. With Superman at their side, Batman comes up with a plan that helps them put out the fires by having Superman burst the main pipeline that crosses Crime Alley and which is connected to the Gotham River. The water pours from the pipes, helping get the fires under control, and the crisis is dealt with. Unfortunately, the people of Gotham have deduced Luthor's involvement in the attack, and an angry mob are sieging LexCorp's building in Gotham. The events are broadcast on the news, and Batman makes haste to the place. The Dark Knight arrives in time to stop the mob from attacking the only security guard there. But unaware of them all, a couple of Joker's henchmen have placed a bomb in the building's basement. The security guard notices the bomb and foolishly attempts to stop it. The bomb detonates, and he is blown to pieces along with the building. Another fire starts as a result of the explosion, and Superman arrives just in time to put an end to the fire before it could spread. Joker watched the whole event on TV, and although he is not pleased with the results, he is still positive that his plan of Metropolis will still work. At that moment, Superman decides to return to Metropolis, but Batman insists on going with him because he has deduced that Joker is planning something and that he should be the one to stop him. Superman carries Batman to Metropolis, where Batman learns that Joker also attacked Luthor's buildings, except he disabled security and communications instead of blowing them up entirely. For this reason, Luthor finds himself trapped in the penthouse of his own building, but he is soon rescued by his men, although they have bad news for him. In the meantime, Superman is attending to some emergencies in the city when he suddenly spots Luthor's vehicle speeding away from Metropolis. Meanwhile, Batman has started uncovering Joker's tracks, and the trail has led him to the sewers beneath the Metro Bank, the first building owned by Luthor. Batman descends to the sewers, unaware that Jimmy Olsen is following him. In the sewers, Tweedledum and Tweedledee are placing explosives and looting the money from the bank. When they start leaving, Batman intends to take them out one at a time. But once he has taken the first thug out, his plan is ruined by Jimmy, whose camera flash has warned the thug about their presence, and he starts running away. Jimmy tries to fix things by summoning Superman with his signal watch, but when Superman arrives, Batman only asks him the location of the Joker's henchmen. With the information provided by Superman, Batman captures the thug and delivers them back to the authorities. However, Batman notices that both thugs are carrying dosimeters, which are special devices that are used to detect radiation. Batman deduces that they must have been carrying them in case of a sudden radioactive outburst, and Superman finally understands what caused the blackout and why Luthor was leaving so fast. The Man of Steel flies to the nuclear power plant owned by Luthor and learns that they are having an emergency. The chief operators have tried to solve the issue, but Superman reveals that the plant might have been sabotaged. Indeed, the core reactor has been compromised by Joker and his men, and the whole thing is about to explode in a nuclear accident that would erase Metropolis from the map. Once the workers have evacuated the plant, Superman grabs the reactor and flies toward space, where he tosses the machine and it explodes safely in the vast emptiness. Back on Earth, all that is seen is a bright flash that turns the night into day for a few seconds. Once the crisis is under control, everyone prepares to resume their usual activities. As Batman waits for Alfred to pick him up in Metropolis, he talks with Superman and regrets the fact that there is no solid evidence to arrest and convict Luthor or the Joker. Superman acts optimistic, telling Batman that there is always hope, but hope is something that the Dark Knight lost a long time ago. Although the differences are clear, the heroes agree to shake hands after a job well done before they go. Hold on, screen's jumping here. Before they go on their own paths. Later at Luthor's office in Suicide Slum, Joker arrives to negotiate with Luthor, but the bald businessman has nothing to discuss with the clown except inform him all the money he owes him after the chaos and destruction caused. Joker learns that he would be legally binded to pay Lex millions of dollars, and so he decides to return to Gotham instead, but not before Luthor plays a prank on him. Legally binding, that's the Joker.
Yeah, like the Joker cares about legally binding.
I know.
Yeah.
In the aftermath of the situation in Midway Orphanage has been rebuilt thanks to the financial support of the Wayne Foundation, and the new place is in good hands. At the opening ceremony, many important people from Metropolis and Gotham attend, but as time goes by, Perry White decides to leave in order to write his column for the Daily Planet. Inspired by the heroes and the villains, Perry writes about them, showcasing the fact that nobody truly knows the tormented past of all of them. He also condemns Luthor and Joker's desire for destruction while praising Batman and Superman's efforts to bring peace and justice. In a closing thought, Perry remarks how different the heroes are, but he hopes that some of each other's attitudes are taken upon by them. As Perry ends writing his column, Superman pays Luthor a visit at night, only to give him a menacing look from the shadows. Meanwhile, Batman has located the Joker walking on the streets and using the flame turbines from his Batplane. He burns the madman's clothes, leaving him to walk the night streets of Gotham in his underwear. Wah, wah. All right. What you guys think?
So once again, that's all one story, one book.
Yep.
That's a lot.
That's why we couldn't fit the orphanage stuff in here.
I really think you could have taken a lot from that story and just put it in the middle, like in the second volume, and kind of rearrange some things so that when you're, like you said earlier, like building to the orphanage climax and the burning and the guy burning inside just feels so much more like an ending to this story than this book does. And that's why it threw me, is because this is a 3-part story, but I really feel like you could rearrange some of the beats and some of the things, and so that was kind of my thing with this.
Yeah, and what was I gonna? Oh no, good, Justin. I lost my.
Yeah, I feel like having the nuclear threat at the end of this, I don't know if it fit this story.
Right.
And again, who's doing business with the Joker? He was about to kill a city full of like what, 10 million people?
Yeah, and like threatening the Joker with a legally binding contract, like we were saying, like, oh, he doesn't care. Even back then in 1990, the Joker does not care about legally binding contracts. It's just paper to him. It doesn't matter. Paper with words on it.
Like if Lex would have been like, "Leave town or I'll kill you," I would have been like, "Okay."
Yeah, exactly. There would have been like at least a dozen other threats that would have worked sufficiently against the Joker than a legally binding contract. That's just words on paper to him. I didn't like that part. I thought that didn't fit. It didn't make sense.
Although it would have been funny though if he would have been like, "Well, people think I'm crazy, but I ain't going near lawyers."
Right. They're more evil than the Joker. Yeah, I don't know. That was the only part that threw this off for me, was that whole legally binding contract stuff. I was like, that doesn't make sense. That's not right.
Yeah, I think
and then like the nuclear threat at the end, I thought, I don't know. I felt like that should have been something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the only problem with the writing, is it was just, the Joker kind of got written to not as insane as he usually is.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it feels like there are a lot of ideas being used here, which could have been, maybe this was intended to be a longer miniseries, and they're like, no, we can only do 3, prestige format issues that are like 48 pages or whatever, or however however long they were with ads and stuff. But yeah, it almost feels like they could have done 2 different miniseries here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I feel like sometimes that's comics in general, is they stuff and over convolute in the story that you're like, wait, what?
And we're seeing that with the movie adaptations now, where they're cramming too much stuff into the movies, and those are failing as a result, because they don't stick to one. I mean, that was the biggest thing that happened with that Thor movie, Love and Thunder, was that they had 2 stories and they couldn't do either one of them right, so they just stitched them together in the middle and called it good. It wasn't good.
Well, that's like Batman. That Batman versus Superman movie again. They crammed in too much. It was like, okay, Batman and Superman meet for the first time. Batman and Superman fight for the first time, like Dark Knight Returns. We get the first appearance of Wonder Woman. We get the death of Superman. I mean, it was too much.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Doomsday. And the worst Lex Luthor ever to hit the screens.
Oh, Kid Luthor, yeah.
Listen, I'll die on that hill that was the absolute worst portrayal of Lex Luthor that I have ever seen. in my adult life.
It was the complete opposite. He was so much younger, it seemed like, than Superman, and Batman.
garbage.
It should be the other way around.
Yeah, I hated every second of that. Every second of that portrayal of Lex Luthor I thought was terrible.
I felt like they just kept seeding it for a twist that he was Lex Luthor Jr. and that because I swear that there was originally something that said Lex Luthor Jr. in there.
Like we're going to see him, the actual Lex, like striding down the hallway at the end, kicking the door in and be like, listen.
Because he kept talking about father and dad and everything.
Yeah. I mean, unless they were just playing up, like the father's Lionel, because,
yeah,
Smallville and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just stuff in this whole thing. Like, I don't really see Lex Luthor ever partnering with the Joker.
No,
I see him more like using the Joker, like without it being known that Lex is behind it, just to stir up trouble. But like, I don't see Lex sitting down and actually talking with the Joker.
Yeah.
Lex will never team with the Joker, but if he can use him, I think, as like a wild dog, he'll use him.
Exactly. Like I could have seen like some business people in Gotham standing up to Lex and being like, listen, Lex, you're not going to just muscle your way in here like you do in Metropolis and buy all this crap out from underneath us. No, take your money back to Metropolis and shove it. And then Lex goes to the Joker and be like, so I have a job for you. And then has him just firebomb all those places and kill
I don't even
all
see
those
Lex
guys,
going to the Joker. I feel like Lex is the type of guy who would get somebody to get the Joker.
Right.
Like he wants to keep the distance and he doesn't even want to be in the same vicinity of him because the Joker is crazy enough that he might just turn and kill Lex.
He would have somebody like the Kingpin has the Arranger in Marvel, like some secondhand lieutenant dude that does all the in-person meetings and stuff, so that the big guy doesn't have to do it.
But I could see him like he keeps himself hidden so no one knows that it's Lex.
Yeah,
that's doing it.
I mean, just talking this out now, I mean, it's just hitting me. Joker wouldn't ask Lex permission to come to Metropolis. Joker would just show up. He has shown up in Metropolis.
Right.
Again, I mean, maybe take out some of the orphanage. Maybe take out the orphanage stuff entirely. Like Justin was saying, save it for another miniseries and just have like a Lex Joker war.
Yes.
And just have Batman, Superman trying to stop this war.
Turf war.
Hit two cities. Yeah.
Yeah, Lex starts it by going into Gotham and trying to buy up a bunch of buildings and stuff.
Then like Joker bombs something to Lex's in Metropolis, so then Lex retaliates. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a turf war thing. Yeah, I think that would have been more successful than having all these different ideas thrown into the pot together.
Yeah, because again, just its own, the orphanage thing is its own story, and again, Batman, Superman, orphan. So it's you know.
But again, from an artistic standpoint, this is how you do a Batman Superman team up. Like I didn't even mention my favorite part, which was the completely dialogueless retelling of both origins juxtaposed side by side.
Oh, when they're both having the nightmares, yeah.
You've got the dream of the baby Clark being shot up into space, and then the night that Bruce's parents were murdered. Both of those being represented with gorgeous artwork and no dialogue and completely parallel. I love that part.
Oh, what's this you sent me, Tyler? I see.
Yeah. I was like, I saw this popped up. I got to share this with you guys.
Well, you're going to get a ton of these, this year. A whole line of Old Spice products with Superman on there.
I don't even care about Old Spice till just now.
The marketing is going to be through the roof for Superman stuff this year.
Tyler's going to buy the whole line and not open it.
Oh, I'm going to just go buy two, and I'll be like, well, I guess I'll have some Old Spice for a while. So, guess who's going shopping?
Did it say where those are at? I mean, you could probably buy them.
I've seen people say they found them at Target and Walmart. Yeah. It's expanding. But I just saw that ad and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to share this with the guys. There's Batman too. I saw that like from someone in a store posted the Batman picture, but I was just
I might try some of that Bright Citrus and Cosmos.
You know what? It could smell like garbage, and I'm like, it's Superman. They have me. I'm like, I'm a sucker for this stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Smells like crap. Must be kryptonite.
Yeah, it's like goes on green. It's kryptonite.
It's red kryptonite.
That's my excuse for anything. Tyler, why were you a douche today? Red kryptonite deodorant.
Red kryptonite.
Oh, okay. There's the see. Let me send me the picture. Yeah, there's the Batman v Superman we deserve.
Oh yeah, all right. Interesting. Yeah, I want to go back and reread this in physical format.
Yes,
and all in one sitting. Like I read this like 3 different nights, or issue 1, 2, and 3. Like, I want to sit down and read the whole thing from. There's so much story here. Like I really need like some time to sit down and really sit with this and read it. I think it would read better that way. And also, I want to have it in physical format for the gorgeous artwork.
Oh yeah,
I need to have it for that. I mean, it's so good. And if you guys haven't checked out Steve Rude's amazing artwork in the series called Nexus, which he did before this in the 80s for First Comics with Mike Barron, that is one of my favorites. I love that series.
It's me, Sailor.
Yeah, I just love that series. And that was my introduction to Steve Rude. That was the first time I saw his artwork. And I thought, this man has so much talent. And yeah, as soon as I saw that he was doing this miniseries with Dave Gibbons and Carl Kiesel, I thought, yeah, I've got to read this.
Yeah, I think we were talking, Justin. Yeah, like you said, like you know, this had flown on the radar. I remember seeing an ad or two for this, but never seeing it in the store. But again, 1990, you know, I was still doing spinner racks and newsstands, so it might have just been direct to market.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it probably was. Yeah, it probably was just in the shops. Yeah. Yeah, but I hope that I looked it up. They didn't do a trade of this for some reason. It's just
that doesn't make sense.
It's weird. I feel like this should be in some type of a collection. I think it would.
But the digital, they have the digital.
Yeah. But like having a nice, even a hardcover edition of this, I would get that.
Yeah, like
hardcover edition with this, with some sketchbook in the back from Steve Rude or something. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Why wouldn't they put that out during when Batman v Superman came out?
I know. Yeah, that's a missed opportunity if there ever was one.
No, we had to put out Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, another edition of that.
Because that's where they fight.
Like that book doesn't sell enough as it is.
Yeah,
I know.
Like that hasn't been reprinted a dozen times already.
By Mr. Frank. Your mother's a whore. Miller.
Yeah.
Oh God, and then Born Again's gonna sell out this year because since Daredevil Born Again started here soon. Probably his better work. The Daredevil Born Again, because after that, I swear he starts going off the rails.
Yeah, with the rats. Yeah.
Oh God! All-Star Batman and Robin. Ugh.
That book's only good to look at. Don't read the story.
Yeah. Jim Lee art, Vicky Vale's butt. Yeah.
I just meant the Jim Lee art, Phil.
Oh yeah.
Phil, do we need to talk afterwards?
No.
Okay, good.
God, they paint a whole room yellow to like take out Hal Jordan. Oh God.
Yeah, that was a little. That's a little. That's really like pushing the.
Frank
the yellow weakness.
Frank Miller just pooping all over everyone's favorites.
I of course love Hal Jordan.
Ugh. Yes, All-Star Superman much better. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
No, I had fun reading this. I'm glad that I finally got a chance to enjoy this wonderful story.
Yeah, me too. I forgot that I read this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is excellent.
Again, not often where there's a story of this era where one of the three of us hasn't read it.
I know. Yeah, that's good.
All right. So yes, we're getting close to a milestone here, gentlemen. because next month got 2 episodes. For episode 49.
Oh, okay.
We're going to cover Superman 45, Adventures of Superman 468, Action Comics 655, and Captain Atom 46.
Yay.
Yay. Whoa. Is that a sarcastic yay? Okay, Lilith.
Hey, I'm game for whatever. You know this.
Well, again, so your favorite guy's going to be in there, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then for episode 50, which I'm gonna have to try to get a guest appearance by someone for. Guess who? All right, we're gonna cover Adventures of Superman 469 and 470, Action Comics 656, and Superman 47. 3 of those issues are Soul Search, so
I'll be there for that one. Yeah,
we'll try to get a special guest to at least talk episode issue 469. All right, so so send us your thoughts on all of those kids. Again, episode 50. Seems like we just started this thing.
Yeah, wow, that is a milestone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, since it's only like twice a month too. Yeah, so that's a. All right, so send us your thoughts. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all episodes pretty much since the beginning of time. Like I said, Tyler, I think our Before the Bad episodes, which are where our first interactions were at, are on CapesLunatics.wordpress.com. And then you can always help support us by buying merch off TeePublic and Spring. And again, more dangerous than any Luthor or Joker. Both Hellfire demands you rain random money on us through the Cash App link.
Mm-hmm.
Make it rain.
And of course, you can always subscribe to the Patreon. Again, exclusive, uncensored content by me and Lilith. And if you're a subscriber like Justin, yes, you can suggest topics for us to discuss.
Yes, I've already given a suggestion for the new year.
Justin has done many suggestions. Ray did one after we shamed him into it. So put down.
What's it about, Batman?
No. Oh,
no, that was a good one. Yeah, I just listened to
though.
that. He wanted to know some secrets from Phil and Lilith.
We got a future secret from Lilith.
Yeah, some interesting secrets.
But that was a good guess, Tyler.
Batman, my favorite character.
Oh, all right. So, yes. So, make sure you subscribe. Patreon.com/CapesandLunatics.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
And again, Ray always takes shrapnel when we talk anything Batman. So, yes, kids, remember, follow Ray Plays Games on YouTube. Watch Ray play with one deck, 2 deck, his deck, someone else's deck.
Your deck, my deck, everyone's deck.
Not at all. Yeah.
Sometimes with both hands.
Because he is.
Strongest wrists down under. Oh, baby.
All right. Tyler, if people want to hear more Superman talk from you, where can they hear that? Where can they hear that Mike Carlin interview? And where can they hear appearances by the ninth wonder of the world, Mr. James Cole?
Well, you can find us on the Krypton Report podcast, the All Things Kryptonian and DC podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts or wherever you get social media. There we are.
I'm tired of knowing everything.
It's a burden on my shoulder.
Lilith Hellfire was right. Who said that? What maniac said that? All right. Now for this Justin the Owl. Again, you can catch him here every so often on Electric Mullet. You can also catch him here on Capes Lunatics Sidekicks at least once a month on We Are the Night. Cover your ears, Ray. The
Batman podcast.
And Azrael. Yes, because Justin and I talk Azrael at the end of every month. He also joins me a little sometimes for Catwoman, Anarchy, his favorite Killer Moth.
That's right.
Yeah, he's the one fan. Also, and then over on Capes and Lunatics, you can catch him all over the place every week, either on Marvel Tales, X-Men Classics, or both. Lots of big things happening there. And again, catch him monthly with me on the return of Energon Universe and One World Under Doom. We're talking new Transformers and G.I. Joe coming out of Image. Talk some Doctor Doom episodes. And, of course, you can catch him also monthly as the new co-host with me and the Hardmaster on the Scarlet Spider episodes at the end of the month on Ultimate Spider-Cast.
Ultimate Spider-Cast.
The Hardmaster.
But that's not all the podcasting this man does. You think that's enough for one human being, but no, he's not
even
man.
more.
He's not man. He is Al. So Justin,
That's right.
where they can find you on these shows.
These shows, Gamma Charge with Russell every month. We discuss some Hulk and She-Hulk. We also have a Patreon, so check that out. Predator and Prey. We're joined by Ray and Sparky to discuss some classic Dark Horse comics featuring the Predator. And on the Lost Library of Legends, we are also going back to the 90s with some Malibu Ultraverse comics.
Going back to the 90s here, bitch.
Oh yes, Justin. I just telling Lilith I was re-listening to some an episode her and I did in December, and I forgot. I threatened Ray if he did not schedule that Batman Predator crossover for some time this year at the end of 2025. We're getting a Ray roast in there.
Okay. All right. I'll remember that.
So tell him he has till December to schedule Batman Predator. I know he always gets thick when those come up. You know.
We can at least do the first one.
Yeah, come on,
the first
Ray.
Miniseries. Yes,
everyone's chomping. All the fans are chomping for it, Ray. Justin, tell Noel to send an email. All right, boys. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, you're only like 2 episodes away from episode 50.
Yeah, Soul Search.
Yes. And again, next episode, Adventures 468. Yeah, Hank Henshaw's consciousness flees Earth, never to be seen again.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like that's really going to happen.
I know.
Never to be seen for another year or two.
Not until Death to See. Hey, who's that cyborg? All right, kids. Come back next time. Remember to join us for Truth, Justice, and the Mullet Way. And remember, the Joker wasn't crazy. So ran into all that paperwork. Good night.